fave. My name is Mallory, otherwise known as Just a Dose of Love all around the internet. So you can find me on Instagram, Reddit, Facebook, Ravelry, and Etsy under Just a Dose of Love, though I am most active on Instagram. If you are a returning viewer, thank you so much for coming to join me again for this bi-weekly video podcast. If you are a new viewer, this is a video podcast about knitting and crafts and some sewing maybe, and a little bit of looming now, and whatever else I happen to be up to at the time. I am filming today in Edmonton, Alberta, where I live with my favorite feline, Sissy Cassania, Chris, and a snake named Heidi. It is about 12:30 in the afternoon, and it is Sunday. And I'm wearing these lovely flannel pajamas my mom got me because, frankly, they are very comfortable, and it's a matching set. And I don't know if I've had a matching set of pajamas for sure in my adult life. So I am just living the life of luxury here today in my pajamas. With all of that out of the way, I'm just going to jump right into what is on my needles. So in the last 2 weeks, I've done a lot of work, but only on 2 projects. So there's not a ton to show you like there was last episode, but I think I've made some pretty decent progress on these. So the first one is my brick sweater. I was wrong in the last podcast with who it was by. The brick sweater is by Claire Lee, and it was published in Soho Knits. It is a free pattern on Ravelry, and well, let me show you how much I've done on this. So the last time we spent some time together, I had, you know, like an inch probably done of the neckline of my sweater or so. It wasn't a whole lot. So now I have my neck and my shoulders. Look at all this! I am at the bottom ribbing. Whoa! I am so pleased. Look at this. It's huge. There's so much that has been done on this. It is this lovely teal colorway. It's Bernat yarn in their premium line, and it is 100% acrylic. So this was meant to be a Christmas gift for my mother, though I had her try it on when she was here, and it's a little big. So I think I'm going to change the plan. Now it's going to be for my sister, and I'll make another one for my mom. I was a little off with my guesstimation on size, but that's fine. It's not even the end of October yet. I have so much time to knit another sweater. There's lots of time. See, the thing is, I have been thinking about it, and my mother and sister, they're pretty much like good to go on Christmas stuff. I started knitting Christmas gifts for them June, maybe, like May. It was a long time ago. So they both have a hat coming their way. They both have a pair of socks coming their way. I have this scarf that I'm going to show you next that is going their way. This mostly done sweater that is going to be going their way. They're like good. They're pretty good. I may have overmade a little bit this year, potentially. You can't overmake, right? Crafter problems. Anyways, bit of tangent. So here's the sweater. I did have to bring my needles. I had to go down 2 sizes in order to get gauge. So the pattern calls for, let's see what the pattern calls for here. Oh, I'm getting blinded by my light here. Pattern calls for, oh, I didn't write it down. I believe it's 9, size 9, and I'm using 7. So I'm about 2 sizes down. And what's going to happen once I'm done the ribbing at the bottom here, I think I'm gonna go another 2 inches or so. The pattern calls for 30 rounds of ribbing, and I think that's just a little long. I think so. However, the 3 of us do have pretty long torsos, so maybe it'll be fine. Anyways, after I'm done that, I'm gonna start on my sleeves, full sleeves, and then I'll get the neck done. And I don't see any reason that this shouldn't be done by next podcast, especially considering how much has been done on it already in these last 2 weeks. So I think that's my new plan. I think that's the new plan, yeah. Maybe they'll both be the same color. Maybe they'll both get the same color sweater. I really like this color. My sister really likes blue. My mom likes teal. Maybe they'll just get like identical sweaters in slightly different sizes. It's a good plan, right? That way no one has to worry about liking the other person's color more. Is that a real concern? It kind of is a little bit. Yeah, you never know. You never know. Okay, so that is the first thing that's on my needles. And a little bit of blabber that has gone along with it. The second thing that is on my needles, so I cast this on yesterday. I was gifted this yarn a couple of years ago, I think, for my birthday. And I'm just gonna show it to you. This is, this is perfect for Halloween, and it's actually very similar to the colors that are going on in my room here that you can see behind me, because it's got these purples and like silver stellina in it and green. I didn't plan that out, but this is how it's working. So this is Black Cat Custom Fibers. She is a local to me dyer. This is on her Blingtron 400 base, which is an 84/16 superwash merino and silver stellina mix. So if I go real close here, you can kind of see the silver stellina a little bit. And it is the Slime Talon colorway. And I have loved this colorway ever since I got it, but I just haven't knit it into anything yet. So I was thinking, you know, it makes me think of Halloween very much so, with the dark purples and the lime greens. So I thought this would be the perfect time to cast on something, you know, just kind of fun for me. So here it is. I caked it up a couple days ago when my mom was here, and it's probably going to live on my little yarn butler there until I'm finished this project. So what I'm knitting up is it's a set of fingerless gloves. It is the Bodleian, I am sure I didn't say that right, Bodleian Mitts by Anna Campos. And so far I'm just getting to the thumb-ish area now. So I'm doing my increases for where the thumb is going to be. And let me, look at this. Isn't this cool? The way that it's pooling, oh, it is just fantastic. And when I was knitting up the ribbing on the bottom, the way, just every single row alternates colors. This is fantastic. Look at that. I had no idea it was going to knit up like this, and I am just blown away. I am so just blown away, speechless. This is so gorgeous. Wow, I am really excited for these. I may very well finish this today. Very possible. Yeah, very possible. It is being knit up on some 2.25 millimeters / US size 1 circular needles. They're my 9-inch circulars. And they are my higher sharps. And every single time I bust these babies out, I remember that I should probably wear a band-aid on my fingertip while I'm knitting with them, because they are very sharp. They are very sharp on the little tips. Let me see if I can show you. Like, look at that. They're like little needles. It makes me feel like Sleeping Beauty, pricking my finger on the spinning wheel because they are very sharp, and my poor little fingertips get very tender very quickly. So here it is. Just look at that. Again, I'm just gonna point out this beautiful purple versus my purple back here, and the shiny bits with my silver mandala, and the green with the fern. Wow. Apparently these are colors that I really like. So that is a little bit of a project that's on the needles for me right now. I'm really excited. I had made myself a set of fingerless gloves quite a few years ago now, probably 5 years ago. And they are this pattern that makes it look like an owl. And I have these little eyeballs that I stuck on. Love them, but they are just the tiniest little bit loose around my hand. And for that reason, it makes it really difficult to actually do anything that I need any form of dexterity with for my hands. So it makes it difficult to type at work. If I'm wearing them because my hands are cold at work. So I just don't. And I'm thinking maybe I would like to try and shrink them just a little bit, but also that's terrifying and very scary, and I probably won't fit it because I'm a chicken. I'm a chicken and I really don't want to ruin my gloves. Although, I guess if they did shrink too much for me, I could probably gift them to my little cousin Julia, who, by the way, hi Julia. She is the most adorable budding knitter that I have ever met. And she is going to do great things. Let me just tell you, she's going to do great things. So maybe that's what I'll do. Maybe I will try and shrink these gloves that you can't see, and I should have brought, but I didn't. Maybe I'll try and shrink these little owl gloves so that they will actually fit my hands. If not, I'm going to have these fitted fingerless gloves anyways, which is great. And then I have a backup plan. So that's great. Beautiful. There is a plan. I like having plans, even if they don't always work out. Okay. New project. Love it. Love how it's striping up. Couldn't have dreamed that it would, I couldn't even have dreamed that it would knit up like this. I thought it was going to be much poolier than it is just on this one side here. And, oh, love it. So I'm trying to plan it out so that my thumb, the thumb spot is going to kind of split where this purple is pooling. I'm hoping it'll work out like that, and then because there's going to be more stitches, I'm gonna lose a stitch here. There. Because there's going to be more stitches added for the thumb, maybe it'll just kind of make the whole thing start to alternate every row instead of having the pool. That is my hope. Not that I will be upset if it doesn't work out that way. I'm sure it's gonna look fabulous regardless. Please excuse the sound here while I wind this yarn back up onto the yarn butler. It's just coming a little undone there. Okay, so that was my two projects right now that are on the needles. I'm gonna take a real quick little sip of coffee break here. Ow, my tooth. My goodness. Yes, I'm an adult. I've been drinking out of cups my entire life, and I still manage to hit my face sometimes. Or, like, spill. Ridiculous. Oh, delicious. So today I'm drinking the Starbucks caramel Keurig coffee. And it is delicious. So good. This is actually my last one, which makes me a little sad, so I'm gonna probably have to make a run to the grocery store today. Oh, so worth it though. Okay, what else do we have? I do have a finished object. It is very exciting. It is my first weaving project, my first real weaving project. It is a Christmas gift for my mother. So mother, if you are watching, you have to stop now. No peeking. Okay. So I have a weaving project that I have finished for my mother for Christmas. If you saw the last episode, you saw the 4-shaft loom I was gifted. It's a table loom. It is one of the Dorothy Leclerc looms, and I'm still just so blown away by this. It's just, I'm still so blown away. And anyways, I have my first real finished object. So I had just kind of like a little testing, fooling around project on the loom the last time you saw it, probably. And I spent last weekend trying to dye up some yarn to make this scarf for my mom with. I still am not very good at dyeing yarn, so I didn't use it. Instead, I used up some stash yarn that I have and this orange ball of yarn that I had gotten from Betsy's, along with the loom and some other things. So I'm just gonna show it to you. Yeah, I'm just gonna show it to you. So here it is. So this weaving pattern I found on Pinterest, and I am not very good at Pinterest. I don't really know how it works. I don't know how to cite anything that I find on there. So unfortunately, until I'm a little better versed in the Pinterest world, I can't really tell you where I found this weaving pattern. Chart, it's a chart. I can show you what it looks like though. And I will, just because, why not? Okay, so here it is. Here, let's try and not get too much glare going on here. So here it is, and I really liked the transition from like this top section here all the way down to the bottom. So that is what I ended up doing with this pattern. This is kind of how I ended up doing it. I wish, I don't really like how it ended up looking in real life. Now this is the end that I started at, and you can tell it was where I started because the tension is so much different than it is on the side that I ended on. So maybe you can see that, the difference here. My mom's gonna love it anyways, but I can tell, and you can probably tell. Oh well. So let's look at this side. Here it is, really, really loving this like second section. Love it. I wish I made the entire scarf like that, or the entire scarf like this. I love these like diamond clusters that are going on. Absolutely love them. I had no idea weaving could look so cool. Look at that. So there it is. There's my first weaving project. I'm very pleased with how it turned out. There are a couple of things that I am less ecstatic about. Of course, like the tension on the two ends and a couple of other minor things. But as far as a first real weaving project goes, I'm so excited, and it's going to be so warm. These yarns are for sure both some sort of merino blend, so I'll have to warn her not to throw it in the wash. But she's pretty used to that by now. My grandma was a crazy avid knitter, and of course my mom's gotten a lot from me, and my mom has knit herself as well, so she knows you don't throw it in the washing machine. Don't throw it in the washing machine. Yeah, she knows. Also, I mean, just the little tassels on the bottom would get tangled, and that would just be sad. So, yes, this is my off the loom project, if you will. Very excited. Yeah, I can't wait to get my loom all warped up and ready for the pattern that I'm gonna do for my sister. And I'm not entirely sure which pattern it will be yet, although I do have a couple of thoughts. There's this one, if you can see it, that I am really liking, as well as this one, which I like quite a bit as well. So it may end up being one of these, it may not end up being one of these. We'll just have to see, really. Yeah, and honestly, I'm really enjoying the weaving. Of course, it's not gonna ever take the place of knitting in my heart, but for when I need to switch it up a little bit on projects, that is definitely going to be very, very easy for me to pick up, as far as just picking up, you know, a project on the side. I actually, one of the reasons I like to craft so much is I get really antsy when I'm not doing something, and making things really helps me to relax a little bit. We do watch a lot of TV, and this gives me something to do while we watch TV, and kind of keeps my mind quiet. So yep. And I don't know about you guys, but lately I have just been very like, oh, I really just want to make everything. I want to make everything. I want to do all of the crafts. I have a Dremel, and I like want to try making pendants with slices of jack pine cones, because those are like super solid and they're just really, really cool. And I want to like carve things into these avocado pits that I have been saving for no particular reason other than to maybe craft with someday. And I want to make like resin things, which, like my last foray into resin crafts, my resin doesn't quite harden all the way, and that's a problem I have to figure out, so I really should stay away from resin. But I just want to make all the things, all of them. I want to make everything and I want to do all of the crafts and all of the different things. I like want to get into those little itty bitty macrame jewelry that's just gorgeous. And anyways, I'm blabbing, but lately I have just been going crazy wanting to make all of the things, all of the things. Is it you two, or is it just me? I hope it's not just me. Maybe it's because things are getting cold again. Maybe it's, you know, like that winter stir crazy starting to set in. I do like winter, by the way. I love winter. Winter is well, fall is my season, but fall lasts like 2 weeks here, so winter is my secondary season, which basically is my primary because of how short autumn is. Blabbing again. Okay. What else would I like to show you? Upcoming and current items of note. I know I did mention it last podcast, so if you did watch that, I'm so sorry for repeating myself, but tutorials. I have made a couple of tutorials and I really would love to make more, and I am going to make more. So far there's been Afterthought Everything Socks and separating the sock tube, so that's one tutorial, and there will be a link below if you're interested in that. And the second one is cutting in the Afterthought heel. So if you know how I make my socks, I really like to just Afterthought heel my socks. And if I'm making a straight sock tube with no pattern, just stockinette, then I will just do Afterthought Everything Socks, because it's just easier for me, and then I don't have to worry about second sock syndrome, because you start at the cuff and you just knit and knit and knit and knit and knit and knit until you have 2 socks worth of leg and foot, and then you make your cuff, and then you separate it. And then you knit on your toes, and then you cut in your heels and you knit those in too, and then bam! Finished pair of socks. Beautiful. 100% would recommend if you think that sounds interesting and or you just want to try it. Absolutely, I think every knitter who likes to make socks should try Afterthought Everything Socks at least once. Would recommend. Anyways, the next one is going to be the Kitchener stitch and how to Kitchener your toes and heels of your socks without having the little donkey ears left over. And I don't have anything to show you exactly what I mean by that, but I found a lot when I was learning how to knit socks. I was really, really frustrated because I would Kitchener my my toes and my heels, and then just like the two outside sets of stitches would not be quite tight enough to make the whole seam basically seamless, and it just really bothered me. So I'm gonna make a tutorial for that and how I do it anyways. Yeah, that's the plan. And I'm really excited about it. And the second thing, well, I mean, there's a lot of things going on all the time. There's going to, the second thing is I would really love to do a 100 subscriber giveaway, and I don't have firm details on that yet. I'm thinking like a skein of your choice from one of the local to me dyers. I have not firmed that up. I basically only started thinking about it while I was writing up today's show notes, but I think that is probably along the lines of what that would be. So be on the lookout for that. I hope to have some better details for next podcast, and then I can actually tell you what the details will be. But there will be a 100 subscriber giveaway, and that is very exciting. I think I am very excited about that. So that is it for upcoming and current items of note. Again, just as a general thing, I have been reknitting some of my patterns, so I am releasing them periodically, re-releasing them periodically with standardized stitch descriptions and instructions and that sort of thing. And I haven't really been working too much on that lately, which shame on me, but frankly, I've just been excited by weaving and Christmas projects, and you know, like, things tend to slow down a little bit on the productivity side of things in the fall, because in the fall is when at work we hit our busy season, and let me tell you, it is busy. So I am in the HVAC industry, which is heating, ventilation, and air conditioning, and we do a ton of, like, this is our busy season because it's getting cold outside, furnaces are turning on, people are smelling like the dust that is burning off of their furnace and going around in their ductwork that has been sitting there all summer. People are turning on their furnaces for the first time since the spring and finding that their furnaces aren't working because they've been turned off all summer, so they didn't know there was an issue, and like so on and so forth. But basically, from the middle of August to the middle of December, that is our peak busy season. So things have just been, and as they have been for the last since I've been there, this is our busy season. I actually hit a little bit of a milestone at work last week. Wednesday was my 5-year work anniversary, which is really exciting for me. Just as like a side note, I'm pretty pleased. It's a big milestone, and I'm loving it. Anyways, oh my goodness, I can see that something on my laptop here has touched one of my keyboard keys. There's just a bunch of U's all the way across the page. Oops. Okay, there's a couple of stash enhancement things I would like to run through. I'll keep it relatively short because we are getting to the 30-ish minute mark here right away. So the first thing I wanted to show you, I had gone through some of the things that I had been gifted from Betsy last podcast, and then there was this set of yarn balls that I had left on the other side of the room, but I really wanted to show you. So they are some sort of linen blend. I'm not sure what it is or what they are specifically because the yarn tags are gone, but it's just this 5-piece like gradient. Look at it. Isn't that gorgeous? And I'm sure these are around the 100-gram mark, maybe 50, hard to say. I could say for sure. I have a scale, but I did not, weigh them prior to this, but this could make like a huge shawl a huge shawl, although there's a couple of little squares in here. So I'm thinking she was probably going to make a scrappy blanket. I guess it's not really a scrappy blanket if it's not scraps, right? But anyways, it looks like she's going to make a blanket. There's not a lot of squares. These might actually be the only two. So maybe she was testing it out. But like, this woman had quite the eye for color. A lot of the yarn that she had was these types of tones, and you could just tell like she really liked these colors, these tones, these mixtures, and I'm feeling so much gratitude for these things that I've been gifted, and just such gratitude. But I really wanted to show you that 5-ball gradient because it is just breathtaking, and I have no idea what it's going to be yet. Maybe a shawl, but very gorgeous, gorgeous. I'm speechless. Again, sorry. The last thing, I meant to show this when I got it, but I just kept not having it in the right room when I was doing my podcast. So I got this cute little Sly Fox pin from Steph Cole Creations. She's got an Etsy store. She does lots of like fabric things. She has some like watercolor paintings. I have a fox watercolor painting that I bought from her Redbubble store hanging in the hallway. And when she put these up on her Instagram, there's only 10 of them. And I immediately went to her Etsy store and picked it up for myself. So let's see here. I'm just gonna, since she has it pinned to her business card, this is a great opportunity just to show you the business card. There. So she's based out of Ontario, so another Canadian maker, and I just love all the stuff she makes. There's her info as well. Although it's probably all backwards for you because my camera does that, which is a little frustrating, I'm sure. Sorry about that. Anyways, that is about it for all of that. I did actually spend last weekend, man, I did a lot last weekend. It was a 3-day weekend though, so that makes a little bit of sense. Last weekend I did spend some time turning some of the poplar bud oil infusion that I started in March. Because if you don't know this, I like to learn, first of all. And I have been spending the last couple of years learning about herbalism and that sort of thing. So in the spring, I collected a bunch of poplar buds and infused them in some olive oil. And they've been infusing since then for the purpose of making a poplar bud balm. So I actually did spend some time last weekend doing that, and here it is. So you mix it with like vitamin E and beeswax to make it this like balm. And oh man, it smells so good. It's kind of like a bit of a topical, mild pain reliever. So I have some backaches and issues once in a while. If I lay in bed too long, my back really starts to hurt, and sometimes my posture at work is absolutely atrocious. So I've been using that at work. And when I'm, sore from sleeping too long, from, laying in bed. Oops. But anyways, really loving it. And I'm pretty pleased at how well it actually turned out, seeing as it's been like 6 months in the making. And that is officially it. That is all I wanted to talk to you about today. That was everything. I didn't miss a single thing, and that very rarely happens. So if you are still watching, thank you so much for putting up with all of that rambling and letting me show you all of these things that I have gotten to create in the last 2 weeks. I really appreciate the time that we spend together. So I'm going to cut it short here, let you get right on with your day, and I hope you have a spectacular next few weeks. Stay warm and cozy and safe, and I will talk to you in a bit.